You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Alright, so you're wondering, how do I listen to you guys live? How do I check it out? Well, good news, we stream every Wednesday, 9 p.m. over on Twitch. Nerddux, NERDDUX, or Nerd to Know Media on YouTube or Twitch. That's how you're going to be able to catch us. Hope to see you in the live chat.
Broadcasting from the Blanchistan Centre, this is Phoenix FM.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another.
According to the Nerd Index, you should be upside down in a junior high toilet around the clock.
This is Sparta! All your babes are belong to us. It's a drop 9,000! Stop talking all of us. Leave Benny alone! Leroy Dragon! Objection! The balls are inert. Time to
Zinedine Zidane.
And now it begins.
And we're live, guys, here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Of course, this is Nerd to Know Basis on nerdtoknowmedia.com. And we have a special guest, Winnie the Pooh. So can you please explain to us what we have Winnie the Pooh here?
Because he was within reach and I thought it would be funny. I have nothing cleverer to add to that.
And it was.
And also, just I'm trying to upstage the certain appearances of certain people. Of course, I'm talking about you, Darragh. Your hair's great today.
Thank you. You know, you're the second person that said it to me this week, which is crazy. We were shooting a video on Sunday, and my bass player is like, "Your hair looks great." I'm like, "Thanks." And it's just like, I watched it. Yeah, so that was weird, but thank you very much. But no, of course. How's everybody doing this week, guys? It's been, we're looks like we're getting, with the schools reopening. I'm getting worried. I'm getting scared. Me, Kev, and Lisa, who sadly neither of them could be here, due to being wrecked from back to schools. I've been riding that worry train for like 6 weeks now. I am tired of worrying about it. Honestly, I teach drama, and I've no idea if I'm going back to a job in 2 weeks. It's all super chaotic and non-nerdy. I don't know. It just seems like the worst idea ever. Like, it's like, okay, go for it, guys. But sure, look, it is what it is. Who knows? We might have Lockdown 2, Electric Boogaloo, very soon.
Lockdown 2, Beyond Thunderdome.
Everything is dome related. What's going on? But before we get to that, Katie, you wanted to bring up something that we need to talk about, because once we start talking about domes and all that stuff, it's just you're not no idea.
There's too many ways we can go with it. So
exactly. So we just need to get to it early. Go for it.
Well, I mean, it kind of ties into the whole dome bubble lockdown thing, because like a couple of weeks ago, basically, like everybody knows that a couple of months ago I picked up a Switch, and then I was like, I need to actually work on myself because I'm lazy and tired and hate everything. So I decided that I was going to get fit, and I decided that they're not opening up the gyms, and I hate the gym anyway because everybody's there, and either all the girls are taking selfies and full face of makeup or whatever. But so I decided
wouldn't it be terrible to have a full face of makeup?
It would. It's like when you're working out, it's like the worst thing because it runs down your face and everything. It's
I challenge you to go to the gym with your current attire. Actually, just to see if anyone would comment on it.
What, my home lounge wear?
Yeah, exactly. And your I hope it's a red top.
Before you go,
it's a pair of tights.
Before you go on, Katie, I can't actually back that statement up. I'll never a gym I was in, not going to mention any names, but I was working out and that kind of stuff. These two girls show up from the changing room. They literally sit on one of the machines, take a selfie, and then go off. And you're like, you were here for a second.
Yeah.
And what are you doing?
I'm not going to shame anyone who's, going to the gym and working out and doing their best. But these people like take up the machines and like fixing their hair the whole time. And it's like someone else could be using that. And you're just taking, like, go home and take selfies.
It's something that I wouldn't have believed you if I hadn't have actually seen it in person. I'm like, no one really does that. Yeah, they do. They do. But, it's hilarious. I'm
the kind of person who would go to the gym. And I actually remember I joined a gym once and they gave me a personal trainer and everything because I was doing like a monthly debit type thing. And she gave me this hour-long workout that took me 2 hours. Like every single time I went to the gym, it took me 2 hours to finish this workout because I'm just so unfit. And at the same time, I'm there on the treadmill and I'm like red face, sweaty, like hair bet back into a ponytail kind of thing. And then there's this girl next to me on like the Stairmaster thing. Perfect makeup, perfect hair. And it's just making me feel crappy about myself, So anyway, to preamble back into the story that I was going to tell, I decided to pick up the Ring Fit for the Switch.
Okay.
And it's actually my absolute favorite thing right now because I'm not fit. I'm not active. I was never active. I was never like into sports or anything like that. I hate any kind of physical activity. And it's one of these things where because it's a video game and it has a story and it has, you go through the different levels and stuff, that it's one of those things where you're distracted enough that you don't actually notice how much you're working out.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just so much fun, because you're like doing Pokemon style fights, but you have to do like squats and knee lifts and stuff. And it's amazing.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And you can like tailor your workout as well. So if you're like, I want to work on abs today, you can do like all ab workouts and stuff. And it's just so much fun.
And what's called Ring Fit, is it?
Yeah, it's called Ring Fit Adventure.
Right.
So you get this, they give you like a Pilates ring that you slot one of your Joy-Cons into, and then they give you like a leg strap to put the other one in. So it's motion control as well. So it tells you like if you're doing the exercises right and all that stuff. And it's just like anyone who wants to get fit, they don't necessarily want to be going outside or if lockdown hits again or anything like that. I highly recommend Ring Fit Adventure because it's like I spend more time laughing at it than I do actually working out. It's brilliant.
Can I just ask, do you need like a particular controller for this, or can you get it straight from the Nintendo shop, or how does it work?
So you have to buy it. I got mine from Smith's and they send it to you in a box, and it has like the Pilates ring and the leg strap and the game and everything with it. Like you can't just download it because you need the ring.
Right. That's cool.
So
like
it's not like something where you'd need the what's that? It's not like you could use like Labo or anything to actually make the ring or anything. You'd actually have to get the proper.
Yeah, because the way it works is you put the controller, like it has a slot that you put the controller in, and then it can tell when you're like pushing it and pulling it and where you're aiming it and everything.
It sounds like a more advanced version of Wii Fit, which actually I do remember using and was actually very good, even though it was primitive.
Hell, even like back in the day, I remember getting like crazy fit from playing the boxing game from Wii Sports because I just got seriously into trying to play it properly. Right. And the amount of energy you would expend trying to win fights, especially if you're trying to go for quick knockouts, was incredible in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know someone who did the same thing with the PS3 UFC game, I think. I had a full workout regime that you could do. And he got in incredible shape actually just from doing that every day. I was like, wow, fair play.
Yeah, I think when I first got it, I was very, very ambitious and I did it like every single day and then I burned out. And now I do it about 3 or 4 times a week, depending on how much energy I have. But it's actually really, really good because the game will measure like how long you've been working out and then tells you when it thinks you should stop.
And how long would your workouts be? Would they be a full hour or would they be 40 minutes? Something
like it depends because like obviously for me having very little energy anyway, it depends on how I'm feeling that day. But the way the game works is it only actually measures the amount of time that you're active. So like you could be playing the game for an hour, but you might only be like doing active exercises for about 20 minutes.
Which is what they say you should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
20 to 40 minutes. So yeah, that sounds great actually. And it's like, I know for myself on lockdown, I've been doing HIIT workouts. on a platform called Udemy, which I'd recommend, and they've gamified that as well, where you do that for like 20 to half an hour. But again, like 7 days, no one's going to do that because you burn yourself out. But doing it a 4-day kind of thing is, probably the best way to do it. But I think for us, and even younger than us, again, I think gamifying everything is the way you get people to stick with it, right?
Yeah, well, it's definitely how you trick me into being more active.
And there you go.
Could I ask though, if you were hypothetically in a house with like 6 adults and a dog and a baby, how humiliating is this game to play in a public space?
Well, working out anywhere is going to be humiliating.
Yeah, there's no like honestly, Cian, there's no way to get around the fact that you're going to be a sweaty mess.
Yeah, I live with like 4 other adults and 2 dogs, and like I have the luxury that my room is just big enough that there's a little area for me to be able to work out in, so that I don't have to be around everyone. But yeah, it's like working out anywhere. It's like this is part of why I don't go to the gym, because it's just like the most demeaning experience.
Yeah,
but when you get super fitness, it's kind of worth it.
Once someone chimed in there, 1 second. Good point. It's why I'm glad nobody I know goes to my gym. Yeah, fair. Sorry, Brin, go for it.
I went through a phase where I was like very, very into yoga, and Cian, I can tell you, like, if you're worried about being embarrassed, gas is going to come out when you do proper stretches.
Oh, I've been doing yoga every morning and evening, but yoga I can do discreetly, like on my phone or like away in a room or something. But like with the Switch, you need the TV, like, so you're going to be in a kind of a public spectacle area if you're going to be doing your boxing and that kind of stuff.
See,
that's my obstacle. Like,
the trick is to fool somebody into doing it with you at home.
Yeah,
and then it's
I could do that.
It's less embarrassing.
Yeah, because you could pick up just like another regular Pilates ring and have somebody next to you doing the same exercises.
And there you go.
All right, we can talk into it.
The screen is a distant dream now. Oh, nice makeup, by the way, Katie. Once in a while.
What makeup?
It's your eyebrows, right?
It's just your eyebrows.
Yeah, I did my eyebrows today, yeah.
See, unfortunately, Katie did a workout right before recording, so her eyes and her arms are just a little bit red.
Just a little bit red, that's all it is. All right. Well, look, and how much is it? Is it like full price, or is it?
Yeah, I paid about 80 quid for it, but honestly, like the amount of times that I've used it, it's paid for itself already.
See, it does really sound like an advanced version of Wii Fit, where you bought the board and stuff with it. And to be fair, peripherals kind of suck, but when it's something that's that integral and that I suppose useful, it's worth it. But again, this guy I knew, he had the whole setup for the PS3 VR thing, and I was just like, that's a bit much. But
we had like the walking trackpad and everything.
I had everything, and was like, man, like, just go fight someone, like,
just go outside for a bit.
Go outside for a bit, Well, like, this was pre-locked. This was like 10 years ago, so it's like, all right, man, whatever.
I was about to say, it's hard to fight someone with social distancing.
You could do it.
It's kind of justified now.
That's what jousting is for. Or
you beat me to it. Bring back jousting.
Bring back jousting. Well, that's probably why they had.
But the horses have to stop at 2 meters too.
Well, that's probably why they had it, because there were plagues all over the Middle Ages, So
yeah, I want to hit you, but from far away.
I don't think health and safety was a big thing back then.
We'd be surprised, to be fair. Like, it depends what you wear and who you wear. If
you're like the king, sure, but
plagues were rampant, but people didn't necessarily want to catch it.
Exactly. That's why. Actually, the best story I heard is during the Black Death, the Pope would sit in between 2 fires, and that's how he didn't get it. He just sat in between 2 fires for like a couple of years. And it's like, well, that's one way of doing it, I suppose.
That's why they call him 2 fires, Johnny.
That's it.
2 sheds, Jackson.
Lights up his Pope hat for extra effect.
Yeah, didn't have the Pope hat.
I mean, you've got a good few minutes before it reaches your head.
But this is before they had the Pope hat. This is when they were just kings and warlords. So,
Maybe that's how it got invented.
The triple tiara? I will look that up.
That's homework for everyone on the stream.
I should know this, actually, but I just don't. Anyway, so Fitness is good. That's the takeaway.
Yeah, fitness, get healthy.
Fitness is good. Fitness is great. We surrender our will as of the state.
Just because we're, antisocial nerds doesn't mean we shouldn't be fit.
Fair. And look, and I will say, if anyone does want to try out like a cheaper version of it, Udemy is a really good way of finding courses for everything, really. And you can get workouts there, and then you just get a yoga mat and you're good to go. Now, you don't talk about embarrassing. Thank God nobody is in the room that I'm in when I'm working out, because not good. But
yeah, there's nothing more humbling than like doing some stretches or yoga, like Brin said, or whatever, and then accidentally clocking yourself in the mirror.
Yeah. Oh no! No, what's worse?
Cover the mirrors. Cover them.
What's worse is when it's like, 3 sets is fine. I can do 3 sets, and then by the second set, you're like, oh my God,
I want to die.
It's not fun.
Even if you're going, I can do the most intense, do the highest level intensity of this, and then halfway through the first set of the first exercise, you're like, no, I can't.
I have my Ring Fit set to the absolute lowest difficulty. And every time I sign in, the little dude, because you get like a little, like the Wii Fit yoga girl or whatever, you get a little dude and he's like, hey, what do you say we crack up the intensity? And I am like, no.
Why don't we say you go away? It's like Clippy from Microsoft. Microsoft. It's like, go away, Clippy. Nobody likes you.
I have my own sort of Switch workout regiment, which is I bought Cuphead over the weekend along with the Goose Game because Kev recommended it so highly, and Prim has discovered how to jump off the couch. So the game is to try and play it and then stop her from killing herself.
Yeah,
and just do that until she falls asleep.
Isn't that playing every video game with a child?
Cuphead is particularly nasty because it's just so difficult. The Goose Game you can pop down is generally forgiving, but with Cuphead, some cool 1930s airplane is going to knock you out of the sky or something like that the second she decides to eat dirt from a potted plant.
Or play Superman.
Oh, yeah, she does that.
Oh, man. Well, that works too. But speaking of domes and everything, right? So I've known, and living inside and all that kind of stuff. I'm not
a segue.
Well, I do the best with what I'm given, and it's right. Everything now just seems to be dome related. Where it's dome this, pod that, pod this. It's that's kind of weird. But so I know it's the first with WWE on the Thunderdome, which that they have, what they brought in, and then literally a couple of days later we had the there's Brim.
Come on.
We noticed DC Fandome, right?
Yeah.
So this was the big Comic-Con thing that they had, right? So what do you guys think? Because this was bigger than a lot of things that we've had this summer. It was the only real thing to talk about. On this show, we haven't really had a chance to talk about anything else, but
there's a reason we talk about Simpsons.
Exactly. So this was the first big news story, and it kind of came all at once. So we had everything all at once. So I don't even know where we can start with this, because we have Batman, we have Black Adam, we have Flash news, we have Flashpoint news, we have Shazam, Suicide Squad, everything. So who wants to take the lead on this?
We start with Okay, let's start with the Batman film. And the trailer came out for
Matt Reeves, the Batman.
Yeah, Matt Reeves directing the Batman, Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne and Batman. And I really like the trailer. I like that it seems to be a much more detective orientated story for Batman, which is nice, because it tends to a lot of the films tend to go in the direction of him being more of have tended to go in him being more of a fighter and him being more combat orientated. So it'd be nice to get a deviation on that for a little bit. I'm not entirely keen on the idea of having what seems to be an emo mid-20s Bruce Wayne.
Right. Well, see, I don't think
Spider-Man 3. We're looking at you.
See, yeah, I don't think he's emo. So this is supposed to be year 2, right?
Yeah, I think it's in and around.
But the thing that they show is kind of unfair, because they show him when he's taken off his his cowl, right?
Well, see, I don't have a problem with that because I've always wanted to see Batman have like
eye makeup
yeah,
on,
because that's the only way that he's actually able to do it, you know. So that I'm fair. So when I saw that, I'm like, well, yeah, it makes sense. Like that's the way you'd look after punching loads of lads. Yeah, you know, it's like. So what exactly makes it emo for you?
The hair.
It's the hair.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
It's the hair.
It's just the hair.
It's a choice. I will give you that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not again. Like I'm sure. Like it's one of those things where when the film comes out, I'm hoping that like there's a genuine.
Hello to the damn child.
Hey, Brin.
Hey, Brin.
Say hello.
Hi, Brin.
It's the sharp turn for Katie.
Yeah.
You're your best friend, Katie. Yes. 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 All right, I'll find you a toy to play with. Do you want your Spanish machine? Sorry, Brin, please go on.
No worries.
I want to say I didn't mean to interrupt, but then again, I am pointing the camera this way.
Yeah. No worries. So like it's one of those things where like I have things I'm concerned about, but I'm more than happy to reserve judgment. It's kind of nice to see Batman say answer the question of who are you with another part of the classic line.
Yeah.
Instead of just going straight to I am Batman. It's not like I'll be really happy if it actually does have the full thing of I am the vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman. But I mean,
probably will. They only shot like 20% of this movie, so
yeah,
you know, we don't really know what was filmed and what wasn't. Like they seem to have enough to definitely have the tone down anyway.
Yeah,
well, and like, Matt Reeves, he managed to make Planet of the Apes work, and that's a much harder sell than Batman.
Yeah, those Planet of the Apes movies are so good too.
Yeah,
really, really good.
Absolutely.
Also, I love I can't get over Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yeah, he doesn't even look like Colin Farrell.
Yeah,
is that who he was? I was trying to spot him and I just couldn't pick him out.
No, like even when you see pictures of him, it doesn't look like him at all. Like because he's under.
I have to Google this now.
He's under such heavy prosthetics as well that it's very easy to miss. You know.
Yeah.
But it looks like the Riddler is going to be the main big bad in this one.
Yeah.
Good. I haven't done him in ages.
But you haven't done him like this either, where he's actually like a serial killer.
Yeah.
You know.
Seriously, Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It's no
fair play. I know. Like I look, I'm willing to give this one a strong chance.
It has promise.
Definitely, yeah. Like we haven't had a detective Batman. Like the only bit of detective Batman we had was that like small scene in The Dark Knight where he's trying to find a gun. That was about it.
There was a little bit of it in.
Michael Keaton did it too, actually, as well.
There was a little bit of it in Batman Returns. There was a little bit of it in. There was a little bit of it in the Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and then there was a bit of a stretch in Batman versus Superman, and then that's about it. Like it's never really been like a major portion of a Batman story in a film. It's always been like a thing that's in the background of what's happening. You know,
it's done really well in the Telltale Batman games. There's some proper like forensic investigation and all that kind of stuff.
And some really well in everything else because he is supposed to be a detective. That's like his thing, you know.
That's like the main. That's supposed to be like the main focus of the character.
Yeah.
And
other than being, he kind of became a ninja almost by, accident. But he was supposed to be a detective. That's what DC means, Detective Comics. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say it's still too early to kind of freak out about it and say how good it is. It definitely has some good meme moments in it. I think Robert Pattinson will be serviceable as Batman. I wish he was a little bit bigger, but then again, it's year 2, so he probably hasn't really got that experience yet to take a good punch yet.
Like, I mean, I kind of look at it in the same sense that I look at the. Do you remember like the animated series, the Batman that came out in like the mid 2000s, I think. Yeah. Like it's if he's playing that kind of era Batman, where I think that one started where he was like 3 years into the job.
Yeah.
So we're talking same kind of timeline. He was a lot more scrawny, a lot more athletic looking.
Yeah, because he's not Ben Affleck yet.
Yeah, basically.
No.
So like
Ben Affleck's supposed to be there for like what, 15 years probably at that point.
Yeah, 10, 15 year veteran.
And he's just like he's built like a brick shit house, which makes sense. So it's just like,
speaking of Batfleck,
so happy, man. So happy you brought that up. So in the Flash movie, we've now confirmation that not only Ben Affleck is back in the Justice League mini series, which is going to be a great trailer for that came out. We'll talk about it in a second. But also Michael Keaton's going to come back, and they're both going to be basically playing Batman at different points in the movie. Yeah.
Oh my god, so many gravelly voices of all the Batmans.
Oh man, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. I think. Like this Flash movie, I had no interest until they started doing something unique with it, and it seems like it's going to save the whole thing.
See, the problem with the Flash as well is that he has never been a strong enough character to carry any kind of story on his own. Like he needs the Justice League, he needs Batman.
Yeah,
like I mean, the Flash is always like a good character, but I think outside of specific stories, he's always been one of those characters that's better as a supporting character rather than a principal character. Because like. It's just one of those things where, especially because I think that like when you look at like his enemies, they're not the most like outside of maybe Grodd or Reverse Flash, they're not the most like inspiring set of villains.
But like Reverse Flash wouldn't necessarily be totally inspiring either. It's like, we took the good guy and we like flipped him.
Yeah, but that speaks to how poor the rest of the rogues are, that he's one of the stronger.
That he's one of the top tier. Like.
Yeah, absolutely. For his villains, absolutely. Again, like I mean, what writers have done with Reverse Flash has also made him into a stronger character as well. Because like obviously people point to Flashpoint, but there's been plenty of stories with Eobard Thawne that have made him into a much more interesting and at least like thought-evoking villain, because again it is a guy from the future who is a genuinely supremely intelligent person, and it just adds an extra layer to the character with how he's been presented. Like I again, as you were saying though, he like Barry Allen as a principal character is not the greatest, and that can. All you have to do is just look at what happened with the CW show with him, and you get an idea of what happens when people try to make him into the principal character.
Well, you can do it. You can do it if it serves a purpose. And I think the Flashpoint movie now actually serves a purpose beyond just, hey, this is a Flash movie. Like, Kane, what do you think about the whole Flash situation? Do you think do you like him as a character, or are you just not interested?
What's that?
Flash. Like, do you think he's a good character, or do you think he's strong enough to hold a movie, or are you happy
I was never really a DC person, unfortunately, so I don't really know the ins and outs. My answer to that...
Well, this is perfect, because like you'd be the Control. You'd kind of be like the average person, right? So watching a Flash movie, safe to say you probably wouldn't really want to do that, but would you be more willing to watch it now that you know that it's going to be two Batmen, I suppose, in it, and also it's going to set up the whole future of this franchise?
Well, actually, I think, because I haven't been a fan of DC's trajectory, but what it really lacks at the moment is a likable character to kind of anchor the universe, like, you know, like a Tony Stark or a Spider-Man or something like that. So on that merit, I really liked his performance as Flash. Right. And I could see him helming a sort of wide-eyed, innocent type movie that would sort of pivot into the next generation of films or series of films. So yeah, I'd be game for it. And he seems to love the character. And I'll always give an enthusiastic actor in a lead role a chance.
That's
like
fair.
You know, if that makes sense, like.
I think that's what's going to happen. Like, so we've had that, and we know that's how they're going to shape up the rest of the universe going forward. We've also had an announcement that there's a new lead actress for Batwoman season 2, which, yikes!
That's not a great sign.
No, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, me and Stevie tried to watch it, and we only got 7 minutes into the first episode. I mean, maybe we're just too sensitive, but I found it incredibly cringy.
Yeah, it is. From what I've seen, it's extremely cringy.
It's a real shame, because I think Cassandra Cain's a really interesting character, And
she is.
I really hate. Like I did make it that far in, and I was just like, oh, I hate this. I hate this.
No, I saw the trailer and I looked at it and I went, Ruby Rose? Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
This is the actor, is it?
Yeah, it's the actor, so.
What's wrong with the actor? Like,
I just like, there's something about their face. I just can't look at them.
It's kind of like what I have with Mr. Punchface, who was in the Star Wars game.
Stevie, you'll love it. We're talking about Batwoman, the TV show.
Well, like, because even I've been rewatching, because I never finished it, but I've been rewatching Orange is the New Black lately.
Oh, shit.
And they come into it in season 3.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, oh my god, I can't. Like, every time they come on the screen, I just want to hurt somebody. So I'm past the point now where they go away. So I'm happy.
It's so bizarre hearing someone with kind of Harley Quinnish features complaining about Batwoman.
Yeah.
Not Batwoman. The actor portraying Batwoman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look, this series is on Live Sport anyway. I think change an actor is like, oh, okay, well,
it's Band-Aid on. It's a Band-Aid on a
gunshot.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's like good luck.
But I think that was one of the I don't know for a fact, but I think that was one of the things that kind of put people off was when they announced Ruby Rose. Everyone went, "Oh, really?"
Yeah. Literally.
See, I didn't have a problem with the 7.5 minutes we made it to the first ad break. But there was just something about the presentation, because maybe, Katie, you can possibly tap into this better than I can with my man brain. But it was clearly trying to be like a cool, groundbreaking, feminist icon. Women can do the things men do. She's in the army. But it also started with the first scene was her swimming in her underwear. And then blondie haired, and then like there's a lesbian kiss, and then there's like, oh, the Bruce Wayne's gone missing, and like you're connected, and all this kind of, and it's like, is this being written for men or women, to appeal to men or women? I'm so lost.
I think the problem is, and again, I haven't watched the show, I've only seen the trailer, but generally speaking, I think the problem is with these kind of things, because like, okay, I don't want to use this word, but the world is becoming so woke, as in like people are becoming more in tune with, human rights issues, feminist issues, all this kind of stuff, that a lot of the time like companies and writers and shows and everything, they want to get in on that to show that they're like with it and we support you and everything and it's great. But usually it's written by the same people who were writing the discriminatory stuff before. So now they have to kind of wrap their heads around this new stuff. And I think with Batwoman, a huge part of the feminist selling point was the fact that she's a lesbian. And so they were like, we have to put as much of this in it as possible to show people that we're with it and we're with the LGBT and we're feminists and it's all good.
It's like, hello, fellow lesbians.
Yeah.
It's
called,
literally like...
It's called performative allyship.
Yeah.
So they show that they're being an ally because they want a good response.
Yeah, but it's like back in the 90s where like shows would literally go, oh, but you need to have a black actor in it. Yeah. Why do we need to have a black actor?
Yeah, like the token black actor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was, and that's the character token. And I was like, the best takedown of that trope is in Not Another Teen Movie, which everyone should watch.
That's great.
All this. But yeah, look, so that's that train wreck out of the way. And,
we'll never speak of it again.
We'll never speak of that again until the show's cancelled, which will probably happen sooner rather than later. Rip. But okay, Wonder Woman is coming out soon. It's gonna be fun. We'll see what happens. Suicide Squad, the good one. That's what they should call it. Like
the good one.
The good one.
Suicide Squad in parentheses. The good one.
Is that so? Like this is the film? Is the film?
Yeah, this is the film. So the film and the game was announced. The film is coming out in 2021. Directed by James Gunn, and it's a soft reboot. And this one has so many characters in it. Have you, Katie specifically? Have you seen who's in this?
No, but to be honest, I was kind of put off with the I think I watched the first 20 minutes of the first Suicide Squad, and I was like, I'm out, I'm done.
No. Listen, don't. It's not that. I'm going to win you back with one phrase. Fearbug is in it.
Who?
Fearbug is in it. The German guy.
Peter Capaldi.
Yeah,
Peter Capaldi's in it with screws in his head.
Are you telling me Flula Borg is in the new Suicide Squad?
Yes, he has a character in it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So on top of that, Peter Capaldi's in it. John Cena's in it.
John Cena.
Man, they call John Cena is in it.
And you can see him this time.
Is he playing the Invisible Man?
I don't believe it.
No. Seriously, when I saw this reveal, I thought people were taking the piss. I'm like, oh no, they literally have everyone in it. The cast is massive, so it's gonna be fun.
Oh my god, John Cena's Peacemaker.
Right?
Oh, that's class.
Right?
Peter Capaldi's the Thinker. I am so in.
Yeah, it's gonna be unreal.
It's gonna be unreal.
Now, here's the bittersweet hook, though. If there's like 20 odd of them, that means they're actually gonna do the Suicide Squad premise, which means most of them are gonna die.
Flula Borg is Javelin.
Yep.
Ooh.
Because I mean, sure, Brin and Darragh, I suspect you know this already, but the original hook of Suicide Squad as a series is you had this team of B-list or new characters, and one of them died every week. And you had to keep buying it to find out which one made it, you know?
Oh, absolutely. But see, I think that adds kind of stakes to it, because you don't had no stakes. It just happened. Like, it just was there. Yeah. You know, I'll never forget.
Slipknot, the man who can climb everything.
I'll never forget going to see that movie, and then remember liking it, and when I watched it, and then when I thought about it, I got progressively more and more upset.
I remember seeing. I remember when that happened. I remember we watched it roughly at the same time, and I went, I was like, oh, what do you think? Oh, I like it, and I liked it a lot. And I went, did you think about what happened in that film? And then you went, no, why? And then I just went, did you think for a second about why Amanda Waller was near Enchantress when there's no reason for Amanda Waller to be anywhere near a disaster zone?
This is all noise to me. I've never made it past the bit where Katana hops on the plane. Twice I've sat down and made it exactly 47 minutes in or whenever.
You know what we need to do then? Post lockdown or like whenever we get out of here, we need to have like a Nerd to Know screening of Suicide Squad, and we all sit and watch it, because I haven't made it any further than 20 minutes into that movie.
Oh, wow.
We need cocktails.
Yes, the Harley Quinn solo movie is good though. Birds of Prey is great.
Absolutely.
I will have to find I'll have to find a drinking game if we're going to drink cocktails. But I remember just pointing
every time they say we're the bad guys.
Basically,
every time they introduce a character.
Yeah.
Every time there's like a weird, super colorful edit that doesn't belong there because the trailer house did it.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Every time you think Cara Delevingne requested being in the film.
Doesn't she do like dancing or something?
Yes.
Monster chimed in there saying that sounds awesome. To be honest, it's like okay, we'll do that. We can do that.
We'll do that. But
live stream.
Yeah.
Well, it depends.
If you get pointing at that one bit, and then you just went, oh yeah, and then you just started cascading into different things that didn't make sense.
See, that's the problem. It's a movie where you watch it and you're like, oh, it's great, and then you're like, you think about it, and you're like, oh no.
See, I wouldn't even go
if you're not thinking about it.
Yeah, like seriously, I went to go see it at a midnight screening, and I was like, I was like, fine, grand. It's only when you sit down and actually think about it does it make you upset. So I think it's a low bar for this new movie, really, to kind of get past.
This was like,
leave
that was
your brain
also like
at
very,
the door.
Literally,
see, Suicide Squad to me has this weird Rise of Skywalker factor where we're always going to wonder what it was supposed to be originally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because they had to change a lot because of how well Guardians of the Galaxy did. And they wanted to respond
and now what they did is they just got the director of Guardians of the Galaxy to let make a movie.
Apparently, like, didn't they have to reshoot half of the movie to put Batman in it and stuff because there was like no action in it originally?
They had to reshoot a lot of it as well to adjust the tone because it was going to be a lot bleaker initially. Watching
the first trailer and the second trailer is like a shocking display, because it's like a really grim grey, and then it's suddenly Guardians of the Galaxy jokey Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, here's most of what chimed in. For me, Suicide Squad is the definition of a great idea poorly executed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Very fair. Yeah. Something, guys. One thing that I am excited about from this is Black Adam. Do you guys know who Black Adam is?
Yes.
No.
I've heard the name.
Black Adam is like evil Shazam, but not really. He's like one of the first. He's like the hero who was given the Shazam powers beforehand, and he's an Egyptian king, basically. Black Adam is awesome. I love Black Adam. He's like one of my favorite characters. Right? He's also my main in Injustice. And yeah, man, like I love Shazam as a movie in general, so I'm so excited that Black Adam is coming, and he's played by The Rock.
Yeah,
that actually happened. I heard rumors of that, and I thought that I was
it's finally coming through now, which is after years of hearing about it, because like that was announced before. That casting was announced before.
Like it was
announced before Shazam even shot. Like,
dude, it was announced about 8 years ago.
Yeah,
I feel like that was announced before Wonder Woman was announced.
It was.
But here's the thing:
I'm in. Yeah.
But the Rock actually narrates a bunch of like animations.
Yeah,
and I got chills because I'm like, oh wow, this is everything I want in a movie, you know? Like DC have literally just reset and they're just gonna like smash Marvel's face in because it's like you guys are finally understanding what's going on.
But
welcome to the party.
To be fair, Marvel left that gate wide open after Endgame.
Oh,
I think that was wise though, because like you're not going to top Endgame. It's an event. Give people time to like rewatch it 1,000 times and look forward to the next. Yeah,
apart from the last scene in that movie, even Endgame couldn't top Endgame.
Yeah,
like they had to start the whole movie on the premise of we're going to time travel, which is a cop out.
See, I think Marvel have reached that kind of point now where they've kind of played the best that they had, and they will kind of come back around with X-Men and stuff like that.
They need to regroup.
Yeah, they need to regroup, and that's and now, like, to be fair, DC had to do the same thing, but they're coming from a losing background, and now they're like, oh, this is how we do it. The multiverse. And Marvel have also figured it out too by going, hey, if we just have this, it'll be grand. Interesting thing, Doctor Strange 2 is apparently going to have, they're trying to get cameos from pre-Disney Marvel movies. So like random cameos from old X-Men, random cameos from...
Well, Sam Raimi's directing, so he has Tobey Maguire's phone number.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked if that
got him
happened.
on speed dial.
Aquaman 2 has been announced, so that's fun. Here's one that isn't fun, and indulge me, right? So I love the New Gods, okay? You guys probably don't know what the New Gods are, but that's okay. Apocalypse is a new god, right? Like the big bad. He is, and basically it's a Jack Kirby series. It was written when Marvel wouldn't let Jack Kirby write Thor anymore, so he went off and made up his own mythology.
Oh, I remember these guys. Yeah, did Neil Gaiman take over writing that for a while?
He wrote them for a while. Yeah, the new gods are amazing, and it's the whole Fourth World Saga, right? Very cosmic, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like what the Immortals are doing, but I'm very, very concerned. Like the director of The Wrinkle in Time is directing it, and I'm like, so. Yeah, good luck. You should have got Neil Gaiman in on there, but go for Wrinkle in Time director.
Give it a chance.
I will give it a chance. I'm not hating on it. That's why I'm just saying good luck, because Jack Kirby stuff is kind of hard to put the screen.
Well, they have got someone with like a vision. Like, I mean, I haven't seen all of Wrinkle in Time, but like someone with a visual flair for that's probably a good place to start. Like,
my concern is that it's going to be like Mr. Wahiki's train wreck of Thor. And I'm like,
God. Yeah. Just get into therapy with this. Yeah. It's becoming our regular
You actually have to get over it. Like,
I liked
it. My God, you have to get over it.
Whenever I see somebody going, I want to do something new with the material, I'm like, no, you don't. It's there. It's fine. Jack Kirby's great. Leave him alone. Anyway.
The whole Thor thing, okay, yeah, maybe it wasn't the best. I personally liked it, and I thought Korg was amazing.
Korg was amazing.
Korg.
I loved finding out what Taika based his Korg's voice on, which was just a Polynesian bouncer that he met once.
Yeah.
And that was great. Just, all right, that's drinks there, folks. Better leave.
I just want to say I'm not actively hating on it. It's just that's where my concern. I get the Lost in Space, Danger Will Robinson vibes off your woman. And I'm like, all right, watch out for this. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Batgirl is back in development. Joss Whedon is basing this on Gail Simone's famous New 52 run, which, to be fair, is a good run. We'll see what happens.
Interesting.
Supergirl is on hold. Boo Earns. The Trench is in development. This is a spin-off of Aquaman, so this is based on the very famous bit in the movie and in the comic run where he goes into the trench and fights everybody. Apparently, it's like a proper horror movie. So we'll see what happens. James Wan is attached to the project, but it's not actually.
That's a good start.
Yeah, well, definitely. The Green Lantern's Corps is back in development, so that's all we know so far.
Well, if you're going to do multiverse, they are kind of the shield of the multiverse, aren't they?
Definitely. Hal Jordan is expected to come back, but also they want to kind of pull it away towards Jon Stewart, so we'll have more of a Justice League animated series version of Green Lantern rather than Hal Jordan, so that's pretty cool.
Well, actually, you could have, because the Green Lanterns, for what I know of them, you could easily have a live action thing, a movie, and like an animated show all sitting in the same continuity because
unbelievable, yeah, exactly,
aren't they?
Exactly. HBO Max has now taken over DC streaming service, so ripping pepperoni.
That was in the pipeline for a while.
Yep. Nightwing status unknown, Lobo status unknown, Cyborg status unknown, Justice League 2 not happened, Justice League Dark status unknown. So we're never going to get that movie, which sucks.
We're in the dark.
Yeah. J.J. Abrams has been brought on though to develop it, so maybe.
Ugh.
He fair with the Cloverfield things. He is good at facilitating other talent, so I wouldn't write it off straight away. Like
I want him as far away from Swamp Thing as is humanly possible.
I want them far away from Hollywood as possible. The man killed Star Wars to the point. We'll hang on to that. We'll put that in the pipeline because we won't finish this. Joker 2. Joker 2 has been in the pipeline, but we don't know. Guys, what do we think? Does Joker need a sequel, or do we not want a sequel?
No, it's better without one.
The fan service, I'd do like one Batman crossover, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't do like it's modeling itself on like King of Comedy and stuff, and those aren't films that merit sequels. Yeah. So,
but, like, it was strong enough on its own, and it was well-rounded enough on its own that doing anything else with it would just be pandering, and it won't necessarily go well.
But
it won't go well. But the thing about it is, they reportedly put a dump truck full of money, like the Canonero, and they're like, "Here you go," and that's why it's still happening.
I think that like I think that like you actually you risk ruining the artistic merit of the initial Joker if you do a sequel to it. It's like it would be like doing a sequel to Raging Bull.
Yeah,
harder. Yeah, like I mean, to be honest, actually, this is what it's like. So. In my opinion, the sequels to Rambo ruin First Blood.
Yeah,
completely ruin the point of the first film.
I'd agree.
And I feel like a sequel to Joker will do exactly the same thing.
Well, and once the much John agrees with you, Brin, I think Brin is right. It's a great standalone movie.
Yeah. Having said that, though, to say on the Sylvester Stallone thing, I've been watching the Rocky movies with Stevie for the first time ever, and each Rocky film makes it gets stronger so far and makes it feel like a link in a chain and escalation. So you could find an approach. I'm just not optimistic they are.
The Rocky films are an exception that proves the rule, as far as I'm concerned.
The Rocky movies as well, as far as I'm aware, were written, starring, and directed by Stallone. So it was his source material. He knew what he wanted to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the director was the co-writer on Joker, the Hangover guy, and he obviously has like a rapport with Joaquin Phoenix. So if they were kept as the creative heads of that series, you could find ways to escalate. Joker hasn't started his journey as the Joker yet.
What I would say would be better to do is take Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker and put him somewhere else. If you really want him to play the Joker, just let him play the Joker. Yeah. But in that world, it doesn't make sense.
Because I feel like...
Give him a holiday.
I feel like as well, if they do another Joker movie, they're going to have to put Batman or someone in it.
Yeah.
Like, they're just going to have to. And then, I don't know, is that going to water it down?
It is. I feel like that would cheapen it, personally.
Yeah.
I agree. I think, it was a great standalone movie. Again, the best way probably to do it is if you want Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker, cool, take him out of there and just say, hey, he's the new Joker. Because at the moment, Jared Leto might not be the Joker.
He was never the Joker.
Well, he never was, exactly.
No.
He's just some guy.
Film, God bless him.
Like the way I've always described Jared Leto is that he's like, I don't know how many of you have seen Batman Beyond, but in it there's there's a gang that epitomize the Jokers, and it very that like a there's in leading that gang.
Yeah.
Don't buy him as the actual Joker.
If we follow the convoluted logic of the DC universe, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker was in the 70s, so like he is like a fanboy.
Yeah, basically.
Clearly.
Yeah, that would be.
You know what would be cool though? It's I doubt they're going to do this. Don't do a Joker sequel, but have all of the films afterwards reference the fact that the Joaquin Phoenix Joker exists.
Yeah.
And then bring him in for a big event thing like Thanos with some big crazy plan. Because that way you get to have your cake and eat it too as far as a standalone film and getting him to mix for that Infinity War money or whatever.
I'm going to put it out there. Make the Arkham games into movies.
That would be a good take.
Well, there is a new Arkham game coming out. Yeah. It's based on Suicide Squad, so it looks like that's still going. I'm kind of surprised to see Joaquin Phoenix signed on, to be honest. He doesn't seem like a sequel. Yeah, I don't think Joaquin Phoenix has ever done a sequel, actually.
Well, initially, when he signed on for the first Joker, in his contract, he said, I'm only doing one.
Yeah.
He was like, one, and that's it.
And without getting into any spoilers, the ending of the film kind of leaves it open-ended so that if he never returned to the role, it would still kind of make sense.
Yeah, they probably dumped a huge amount of money on his film.
They probably showed up with that Christian Bale money from to play Spider-Man again. Play Batman again. And he just never did it. So.
Christian Bale money is a thing?
Yeah, so before they got Batfleck in, they apparently just got a big dump truck full of money and drove it over, and he still said no. So
why didn't they go to the guy who played Robin in The Dark Knight Rises? That way you could have had your universe that was built in that aesthetic,
Well, we might bring him in for Nightwing.
Levitt?
Yeah, they might bring
Gordon Levitt, yeah. He was just set up to be the next Batman.
Well, look, they might bring him in for that Nightwing movie that's still in development, so we don't know.
I'd watch that.
But here's some things that are dead. Gotham Series Sirens.
Our new weekly segment.
Things that are dead.
Things that are dead. Man of Steel 2. Now, even though Henry Cavill is back as Superman officially, he's not doing Man of Steel 2. Superman reboot. That is dead too, so no Black Superman, apparently.
No.
Was that ever a thing, really?
It was.
Aren't they doing Red Son?
No, they're doing Red. They did Red Son as an anime thing, didn't they?
That's what it is.
Yeah, they did. I haven't seen it yet. I know you hate it, Brin.
I don't hate it. There's things I really liked from the book that I was disappointed weren't in there. But
yeah, they had Michael B. Jordan apparently wanting to play Superman, which is like, why? You don't need that. But anyway, they thought that too. So,
let's be fair here. If we're getting Michael B. Jordan attached, I would rather him play a good superhero and not immediately go, well, the closest thing to Superman we have for a black actor is Steel.
Jesus.
I'm not doing that to him.
You know, Michael B. Jordan would be great playing either Green Lantern or Martian Manhunter. That'd be awesome.
I watched that.
Him as Jon Stewart would be pretty great.
Perfect casting.
Pretty great. Yeah.
Anyway, do that, DC. And they might do. We don't know yet.
I would want to cast a bit older for Martian Manhunter, to be honest.
You can de-age him. You can.
I know, but I mean, what I mean by older is I'd want to have someone like if you had the budget, I would go for Denzel.
Oh,
yeah, but like they're gonna cover him in prosthetics anyway.
They are, but for me anyway, if it was my film, I'd want to go for someone around I would like to go for someone like Denzel Washington. Hell, even Clark Peters from The Wire, I'd love to get as.
Fair.
Yeah.
Bryn talks about me bringing up Star Wars. Bryn always brings The Wire any chance he gets.
This is the first time we've ever talked about The Wire in the year.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I don't talk about it on the show. That's the difference.
You just talk it to me. You just talk about it to me all the time.
Yeah. So,
all right, I take it back.
Where on the Taika Waititi curve does The Wire fall?
Anyway, so
Waititi curve.
Jared Leto's movie is dead. Harley Quinn Joker movie dead. Oh,
Yay!
there we go.
I want to see. No, I want to see Harley and Ivy. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Well, that might happen. Yeah. So we don't know yet. Like as I said, everybody loves Harley Quinn. So
Margot Robbie is on the same level as Ezra Miller, as she just loves the character. Like I think she was a producer on Birds of Prey, so I think as long as she's game for it, they're going to keep doing Hardy movies. Like you know.
Well, look,
Harley and Ivy. Well,
they were supposed to do Gotham City Sirens, but that's also dead as well, and that's what that would have been.
But I thought Birds of Prey kind of was Gotham.
No. Well, they didn't do Birds of Prey properly. That was the problem. But Gotham City Sirens literally is your Harley and Ivory, movie. So they might swing back around, but we'll have to see. Like the big things here is the DC universe needs to get back on track because it's completely off track and it's hanging on by a thread. That thread.
You say that, but the last 4 films have been either critically or commercially pretty good.
But that's what I mean. Like they're hanging on by the thread, and those threads are the last 4 movies.
Yeah. They need to pull themselves back up.
At the same time, though, like the upswing in terms of quality has very much gone towards them being good films. Like,
oh man, like I'm so happy now that they're actually doing stuff now. And they're like, oh wait, we actually have probably a deeper well than Marvel. And honestly,
for upcoming films, certainly.
Absolutely.
That is,
Months to month, I long for a DC movie where they use the New 52 as source material. But they're going to. That's what Green Lantern is going to be, and that's what Batgirl is going to be apparently as well.
Super Batgirl.
And also Shazam. Shazam was totally based on his New 52 retelling. That's why he had the cool hood, which is awesome. Right, guys, listen, we have to end it there unless we want to go into overtime because we will get.
We want to go into overtime.
Okay, we want to go into overtime.
I think we need to go into overtime.
All right, so we have to end it here for Phoenix 92.5 FM listeners, guys. We will be back on this stream in the next couple of minutes. Still haven't made ads. We'll eventually get around to it, like Brin's show.
Yeah, don't worry, they're coming.
They're coming. We'll be back after this short break, guys. If you're listening to us on Phoenix 92.5 FM, thank you very much. We'll be back next week. Bye, guys. Check out the Wrestling Rewind here on Phoenix 92.5 FM every Tuesday at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And of course, over on nerdtoknowmedia.com, the only wrestling podcast by wrestling fans who don't hate wrestling. We'll see you then.
Welcome to Overtime here on Nerd to Know Media.
And we're back.
Nice.
I was going to make a cup of tea
funny,
or something.
These guys don't see the ads. They just kind of come right back. So yeah, and we're back. The shortest ad in human history.
So I wanted to
while it was a second for us, it was the time to invest in trading 212 for them or something like that.
Basically, my God, those ads, man.
I kind of want to get that app or
audio book on us.
I kind of want trading 212 or eToro, which is the other one. I'm like,
or what's that puzzle game that's on YouTube all the time now, where where you have to stop a guy from dying or some shit?
Oh yeah, it's like the mafia one. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. See,
madness.
Okay, now unlike other people on the platform, I condone the use of ad block. Go for it. But so I don't see them most of the time. I kept wanting to use my tablet or phone. I'm like, what the hell is this? And it's just YouTube, but bad.
Just relentless.
Yeah, it's relentless.
And like now it's
unskippable ads.
It's like 2 ads at a time as well, which is even worse. But
no, you got to keep the ads because then you get the benefit of when they say investor trading 212. You get to yell at the screen and go, "I told you last night, no."
Do you know where your stocks are?
So anyway, I wanted to talk about the Suicide Squad trailer. For the video game.
Okay.
First and foremost, I think the premise for the game is great. I thought the trailer itself was very, very strong. I'm just a sucker for any trailer, for any media that will use Outkast as their soundtrack. It always just makes me a bit happy. But the one thing that I'm just getting a bit tired of seeing it now at this point is doing what if Superman's evil? I've had it. Why can't we just have why is it that we can't get past the state of going, what would be a really interesting thing to do with Superman? Let's just make him bad.
Well, I mean, that's the problem because Superman is less of a character and more of a concept. So the concept of that's basically what the first 5 kind of DC films were, wasn't it? It's like, what if the ultimate power was misused? What could you do?
There's a movie,
whereas Spider-Man is a character. Do you know what I mean?
Well, there's a movie called Brightburn.
Yeah,
where they do that.
Where it's just basically what if Superman bad?
Yeah,
and,
it's okay. Not great.
But the problem I have with Brightburn is not so much that like the premise of it is a bad premise. It's just that like that idea of what if Superman's bad has been done by the time it came out, was done to death and has been done in so many more interesting ways. Like,
The Boys, for example, there's no top on that.
Is the prime.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The Boys just have this done.
Like Homelander as a character is fascinating.
I love
fascinating with a dash of Zap Brannigan thrown in there for good measure.
Absolutely. What if Zap Brannigan was superpowered and evil? Like,
what I love about Homelander is like he is probably one of the most evil characters ever put on screen.
Oh, totally,
easily.
And you're just like, and the whole presentation of the 7, you're like, wow. It's fantastic. It kind of has everything. So it's kind of been done, and it was done by this point already. I agree with what Brin is saying.
But it's, even with like the Injustice games, where it's like really heavily explored, both in the books and in the game, like the idea of like Superman going bad of his own volition. Like there's no mind control involved.
He doesn't go. No, hold on. There is mind control, and he kills his son and Lois Lane.
But that was manipulation.
Yeah, but that wasn't his own volition. He was kind of tricked, and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go mad now.
Okay, well, you can...
Can you guys send me some cliff notes? I'm getting a bit lost here.
You need to play more games.
Smile and nod, Cian. Smile and nod.
Oh, that looks great with your perfectly normal face, Katie.
Yeah.
Just need an animated gif of that now.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I agree with Brin. It looks great, but I'm fearful that it'll have some overused tropes in it. See, that's the problem with this Arkham series. I think the Arkham series has kind of done everything it could do with the Batman.
Well, the Arkham series was designed...
I've seen the screen here, and it's on a delay, and all I can see is Katie's head nodding and smiling. It's so creepy.
Not again, not again.
Don't do it again, because it's on a delay.
Yeah.
It's nightmarish.
I think it's like... again, like I'm not too sure what they're doing with the Arkham Knights game in terms of what the story is going to be outside of the Court of Owls is going to be in it, which is
I think the Knights one. It's not an Arkham game, right? It's like Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights, that's what it's called.
And they're like doing it totally separate. They're like it's not at all an Arkham game.
I thought it was set with Bruce Wayne being dead after Nightfall.
Yeah, it's a similar timeline, but it's not Arkham.
Yeah,
right. Okay, yeah, Gotham Knights is the next one coming up. But look, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I got the PS4 way after Arkham Knight came out, and I still haven't played Arkham Knight. So I'm like, okay, I'm not really in a huge rush to play it, but
it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to drive the Batmobile.
I thought that was good.
Yeah. You get to drive the Batmobile and totally not kill anyone.
Well,
can I talk about the Batman Begins game for a sec?
Yes.
The Batman.
Did you ever play this game?
I did.
Yes.
It was basically the Arkham Asylum before there was Arkham Asylum with the full cast of Batman Begins, which is great. But I remember the Batmobile vehicle segments. You could just run cars off the road and bash into them and make them explode. And a little thing in the corner would say, no casualties.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you tried to maintain the logic of the universe.
Yeah. My favorite thing in the Arkham games was always, when you bash the guy's head into like the electricity box and he gets zapped, and I'm like, oh yeah, Batman totally didn't just kill that guy.
Yeah. But there's times where like he will straight up destroy a guy's leg and just leave him in the middle of a street.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be fine from that.
Yeah, he breaks both his arms and one of his legs, and he's like, all right, see you later.
Remember in The Dark Knight when he broke Eric Roberts' leg and he felt so guilty he nearly retired? Like, hasn't that ship just sailed since then?
But the setup here on this one, just to take it back to the game, is that it's evil Superman and the Suicide Squad are going to fight Superman. How are they going to do that? Like, how are they
with a mallet?
Yeah. Also, one thing I found out that you'll enjoy, Darragh, is that King Shark is voiced by Samoa Joe.
That is cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, Samoa Joe is great.
Yeah. I won't say a bad word about him, even if he does have a robotic arm in a game.
But even if he does try to commit, if he actually does commit murder in the game.
But King Shark keeps coming up in like comics and like all that kind of stuff. Well, it's like that line in Mean Girls. It's like, stop trying to make King Shark happen.
It's not gonna happen.
You know what? Hold on, I'm just gonna say, I think that King Shark is very fetch. So.
King Shark is streets ahead, and if you're not on board with that, then you're streets behind. So,
it's so. I must say, as a relative DC kind of newbie, it's so fascinating to hear you guys talk about it because Marvel. You talk about Marvel, and you're like, "Oh, remember when Aunt May died?" or "Remember when this happened?" And all the big DC things are all kind of, "What if Superman but evil? What if Gotham but Batman dead?" It's like it's really weird how they approach it conceptually as opposed to narratively, you know?
I can tell you why. I can tell you exactly why. Because up until like 4 years ago, every single Marvel thing happened.
Right.
Timeline. Like it all just happened, right? DC wrote themselves into a corner in the 80s and they're like, oh no. So they decided to nuke their entire continuity many times. But before that, they had all these multiverse things where when writers wrote themselves into a corner, they were just like, "Oh well, we'll just do this."
A wizard did it.
Well, no, they're like, "Oh, Batman evil or Batman good or Batman has daughter with Catwoman or whatever," and that's how they did it. Compared to Marvel, where they're like, "Oh no, all this kind of makes sense up until about 5 years ago." So that's why, But the DC universe is a lot harder to penetrate because you know Batman, you know Superman, you know Wonder Woman, but you don't know the new gods, you don't know Shazam, you don't know, so it's kind of harder. But once you get into it, it's this real deep lore that they're finding like, oh, it actually is pretty good. And Jeff Johns is the reason for it. Like if anyone's listening now and wants to get into comics, check out anything Jeff Johns has ever written in the New 52 and you'll know. Shazam, he managed to save Shazam. He made Aquaman cool, and Aquaman was
not easy,
definitely not easy. But yeah, so that's why, because it got rebooted so many times. Crisis, they've had like 7 crises. It's like, lads, get it together. Come on.
The first 2 were kind of all right, fair enough.
And then it's just
by your 7th crisis, it's just a pattern.
But basically what happened was, and Grant Morrison actually talks about it in his book, basically one series of writers would wipe everything, and then the young fellas who were writers then, who grew up reading the stuff that was wiped, were like, oh no, we're going to bring that back. And that happened for like 30 years. So
okay, well, I mean, like,
are weird. It's like, literally. So
well, it allows you kind of to have like your Dark Knight Returns and your Killing Joke, and the way I kind of reconcile it in my head is like all the DC characters are just like Greek gods. They've done everything, even when it contradicts itself, and they're more like fables than like Marvel, which is very much a big ongoing soap opera where everything happens,
But that's the way it was up until, they rebooted it and kind of did the same thing now where, you can have these big overarching stories, but they all happen. For example, it's the reason why Gwen Stacy never came back in Spider-Man, because she was dead. Well, she did come back before people go, oh, but she came back as a clone, that doesn't count.
Gwen Stacy in our segment, Things That Are Dead.
Yeah, well, there you go. But that's why she stayed dead for so long, because she was dead, They didn't bring her back.
She was dead.
Dead, like not comic dead.
Yeah.
Actual like Poochie dead.
But I mean,
yeah, because I remember in the 90s when they killed Colossus as their statement to say, "Oh no, deaths are permanent." And they made a point because the people coming back from the dead, especially in the X-Men, was just getting out of hand.
Yeah. So like now, when you kill somebody, they come back like in about 3 or 4 months. But
it's a storyline when they die now.
Absolutely, like Wolverine, case in point, like that was a big storyline, or when he kills Superman or like that. But it's that's the difference between Marvel and DC, and that's why it's kind of it's taken them to this point where they're like, oh yeah, look, our stuff is really weird, so when we get into it, it's going to get weird, but kind of go with us. Yeah. Marvel have opened that up where Marvel are doing, they've kind of opened up the way to tell stories in comic books, and now DC are like, hey, we can just go for this, and people will watch it. Why not? So,
that's kind of like what the appeal of Dark Knight's Metal has been.
Absolutely.
Which is
a phenomenal series, by the way.
Insane.
Yeah, it's
but it's it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, the ideas that have come out of it is like incredible.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, the way that like I've always had like the difference between Marvel and DC described has always been DC writes the heroes you hope for. Marvel writes the heroes you get.
That's fair. That's a very good way of putting it.
That's an interesting interpretation. Certainly, I'm reading The Science of Supervillains again.
Yeah.
And like they described the kind of DC characters as being like gods.
Yeah.
And as the kind of Marvel ones as being mortals.
Yeah.
Well, see, that the big difference is, remember, and this comes from Stan Lee, right?
Mm.
His whole thing was that Marvel were creations of science.
Yeah.
So they were also
anyone could be super.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, whereas it's like, oh, gamma radiation, a spider bite or whatever, and then there was the mutations obviously as well, which is probably from that.
He also really wanted to make characters as relatable as possible.
Well, that's why the Fantastic Four were a family. They were the kind of breakthrough ones, weren't they?
They were literally a nuclear family.
But what I mean is, well, the important thing is that DC, they were like, one is literally a god, right?
Yeah.
One is also a god from outer space. Batman is like the peak human. He is the ultimate human, right? That's why he's there among gods. He's there with aliens. Well, that's it. He's not a ninja. He has like 26 PhDs. He's ultimate everything. Batman is.
He doesn't really need to sleep.
No, but like when Batman is your everyman with all of his tech and money, like that says a lot. You know,
no, he's never been
your everyman.
He's never
been an everyman.
That's the point. That's the point, right?
You know?
Everyone in DC is royalty or the peak of something. Like think about it, King of Atlantis, all that kind of stuff. There's no Peter Parker. No one is slumming it, right? It's like it's not happening, you know, in DC.
What I'll also say as well is, despite what Frank Miller would like to write, Batman's not a fascist.
Why are we bringing up Frank Miller?
Oh my god, you bringing up the goddamn Batman?
Yeah. Not even bringing up Batman. I mean, like the way from the 80s that he's consistently written the character is to write him more and more like a fascist.
Well, I think a Dark Knight Returns is a very specific context, which is like the old weary. So that's fine. When you get into All-Star Batman and Robin, where he's like calling Robin retarded and like all this, and the way he writes Vicky Vale, it's just it's gross. It's as gross as Homelander.
Yeah, it is, right? Like that's what Rorschach was a commentary on.
Yeah.
Right, where Rorschach literally is basically a fascist.
Yeah.
And now I feel like people like Rorschach not in the way he was intended. You know what I mean? Not to get too political, like.
But that's because we're living in a world that we were warned about, right?
Yeah.
That was
like
happened.
But as well as that, I mean, I think when it comes
dystopia, so we're gonna start playing out dystopian tropes.
I think when you look at what I think people who like and aspire to Rorschach don't really pay attention to his political leanings. They pay attention to you're not locked. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. You know.
Yeah, like, whatever looks good on a badge, on a bag, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like men get arrested, dogs get put down. Like,
I would challenge them to actually read the magazines Rorschach reads because they're in Watchmen. As supplementary material. I challenge you to read that.
What I would say again, you know, the appeal of these characters, right? Rorschach is a man of action, and when he does do that moment where he goes in and absolutely just decimates the pedophile, you're like, well, you got it done, you know. And it's just like, that's it. It's kind of the same when I used to read Punisher.
I know. I want to stand up for this though, because the movie has it super blunt, but like the comic has that slight bit of ambiguity, because like you're never sure. He finds a bit of cloth and there's the dog with the bone and he joins the dots. But the guy doesn't say anything. He just kind of begs for mercy, so you never know. I feel like that was put in the comic on purpose.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even still, it's like you're gonna boil down these characters to their base, right? And their base is appealing to different things. And Watchmen would take those tropes, and there's a really good thesis by the comic book guys. I can't remember the actual. I'll try to find it. It's by Murd. He wrote a whole thing on it. I did a whole series on Watchmen. It's fantastic. I will dig it out, and I promise I'll leave the links below. Yeah, like it goes into the whole thing. But when you're boiling down comics to its base, it has to be something everybody can relate to, and it's a lot easier to relate to those kind of things than overall, as you said, Cian, concepts, right? Like concepts that are very hard to link into. It's a lot easier to like relate to Spider-Man because you know his motivations. So it's a lot easier to relate to, even in Watchmen. You get why Ozymandias is doing what he's doing because he's relatable. You can't, Dr. Manhattan, you can't really, because he's not really human. That's the difference. I think that's what that was a commentary on.
But that's the is it okay to spoil Watchmen? Is it okay to I feel weird saying that?
30-year-old comic.
Yeah, are we past the grace period?
The Watchmen TV show came out last year, and it spoiled the book.
Yeah. So okay, fair enough. Because the hook of kind of Ozymandias' plan is he's the only one who notices that Dr. Manhattan actually has feelings.
Yeah,
and basically. That's kind of his way into navigating the whole thing. So it's, I don't know. Watchmen to me was always conceived as an attack on the comic book industry in the 80s.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Absolutely.
But everything in Watchmen was a response to either things in contemporary comics are just, like Rorschach's. The whole point of what Rorschach was is to point out that, like, hey, if you take Batman to his logical conclusion, he's not a good guy.
No.
And
that's it. And that's the thing. And that people seem to forget that, and that's when you get Frank Miller writing Batman as a fascist, which, well, actually, he's the complete opposite. He's more like a, leave me alone kind of thing, which is...
He's the 1%.
Yeah. Not even that. Like, think about it. Whenever Superman rolls out, he's like he's more the Captain America in Civil War than Tony Stark. And that's the whole point of the Dark Knight.
Yeah, because in the Dark Knight Returns, wasn't Superman in the Reagan administration or something like that?
Which he was
which
the G-man.
Is a logical conclusion.
Yeah,
it's not nice, but you could see it happening. Him becoming enmeshed in the government and stuff.
Exactly, but that's kind of what happened with Iron Man, where he was always enmeshed in the military. But and it's kind of cool to see that been brought out. But that's why it's kind of hard to do, because you're like, right, where do we put these gods? Right, in our society, and that's the appeal of the boys. You're like, oh, they would just kind of be superstars and kind of dicks. So it's like, it's kind of what they do. It makes sense. But guys,
that's true, because you could find a superhero alternative for each of the 7 boys, like, couldn't you? Like
for the 7, yeah.
For the 7,
I mean, that was very much the idea, because they pulled the character archetypes primarily from the Justice League, but then with a few variants, like one of them,
because you've got Aquaman, you've got Superman, you've got a Batman-ish who doesn't talk, you've got a Wonder Woman. I don't know what Elusive is supposed to be.
Yeah,
but see, that's it. But the reason why that works is because if you had to try it with Marvel characters, you fall into they're just normal people anyway.
Yeah.
Like, Bruce Banner never stopped being Bruce Banner. Tony Stark never stopped being Tony Stark, and that kind of thing. Yeah. Like the big thing with Steve Rogers is he's still Steve Rogers. He's still, he's just
they make a point of that in the Winter Soldier film when he accused him of just being a shield, and he takes his helmet off for the remainder of the movie, more or less.
And that's the thing, because when you're kind of going with DC, it's harder. And coming back around, it's great to see finally that they're willing to just be like, right, this is us. Here's what's beyond those tropes into the storytelling. And we're going to get a much more vibrant and diverse story pool from it. We're not just going to get 7 Batman movies. We're going to get other stuff. And I think that's great.
I think that's great, though, because, I mean, again, one of the things that's great about DC stories is that they do, like, as you said, Cian, they do have that conceptual layer to them. Like, one of my favorite Superman books, and if I don't see it ever getting made into a live action film, but Superman versus the Elite is an amazing story. And
I don't know this one. Tell me about it.
So basically, you have like this team of it's been a while since I've read it or seen the animated film for it. But basically, it's like this international team shows up called the Elite, and basically they have no qualms about committing murder against people they see as threats. And Superman's going, "No, but you really shouldn't do that, though." And then
you don't want to do that.
Yeah, because he's basically going like, "Look, that's just not a way to conduct being a hero." Like, and then basically public opinion sways towards the elite because they're doing the stuff that Superman won't do, and they're killing villains that Superman wouldn't kill, and then it becomes this whole ideological struggle because they started off being on good terms, but over the course of the story, it just breaks down. And then it just becomes about, well, how is Superman going to win this ideological struggle if there's one thing they are willing to do to him that he's not willing to do to them. And
that's funny because that's the conceit of the Dark Knight as well. Like, why would people be scared of Batman if the Joker is always willing to go further?
Because Batman breaks your arms and legs, whereas with the Joker, he kills you. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
That's fair.
That's really creepy with that makeup.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong. But guys,
ignore him. Your eyebrows are great.
But here's the thing, right? Obviously, we're not going to get to The Simpsons this week. So anyone listening, guys, we're sorry. We will come back. Well, hopefully more of the team.
They're on to us. Get them back to SeaWorld.
Back to SeaWorld. To talk more about season 8. But we had to talk about it because here's the thing. Remember, we were talking about The Simpsons because nothing else in the world was happening. And then DC gives a year worth of content. So it's like, okay, we got to talk about it. So guys, we are going to wrap it up now because we talked for a good 70 minutes.
Yeah.
So Brin, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, so Tech Takeover is in production. The script is fully written. There's been an initial recording session. I've only managed to do the first 10 minutes of the script so far, but I am planning to get the rest of it finished so that I should be ready to get it edited and released in 2 weeks' time. So
fantastic.
That's where we're looking.
Okay, and Katie?
Yeah, we are back this week with another episode of Doing It for the Exposure, which is out tomorrow at lunchtime, or if you're listening, well, they wouldn't be listening on Saturday because we're overtime now. Yep. Still 2 days ago. We're back tomorrow with another artist, which is really, really good because it's somebody that I've never met before. So we're growing, which is great. I'm very excited. And also, I know I'm not wearing any makeup right now. If you want to know why I look the way I look, you can hop over to my Instagram and keep an eye on that because we'll also be posting stuff there very, very soon. And that's @mannequin_blue.
Sweet. And Cian?
Okay, well, I suppose me and Darragh are going to be doing a Star Wars themed game corner this weekend, this Saturday. I am very excited because I know that you are a wealth of knowledge in that department. And I suppose...
I wonder how long that show's going to be.
I'm braced to break it into 3 parts or whatever if needs be.
That's optimistic of you.
And also, I didn't get a chance to talk about either of these things, but I am currently reviewing the new Lower Deck Star Trek show for Geek Ireland. So if you look up that on Geek Ireland, that's written by me, and I'd appreciate the clicks. And my weekly Doctor Who recommendation is that Tom Baker and David Tennant have done a crossover play, which is available now for £10, and it's well worth it for that little moment in history-ness of it.
Awesome. And guys, go over to nerdtoknowmedia.com. The Wrestling Rewind, we did a pretty good show this week. That's up on the channel, and we have a lot more content coming up as well. Again, show every single day of the week, and thanks for tuning in. If you liked what you hear, go over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and obviously all our shows are for free. So we will talk to you guys next week here on Nerd to Know Media. Bye guys.
Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.